Atlantic. The hurricanes also forced people who thought they were heading to the Caribbean to New England instead.
You book a Caribbean cruise expecting warm, not to be up here in Maine.
What impact could the government shutdown have on NOAA?
Hurricane outbreak and some wildfires in the west. All of a sudden, you're stretching that workforce so very thin.
A new wildfire is spreading in the Utah mountains.
We've seen planes, helicopters, and fire crews attacking this fire.
Plus why the sky is a dark blue this time of year and our Friday football forecast.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. For the first time since Umberto formed 9 days ago, there was no active tropical system in the Atlantic this morning, but we're watching two areas that could become storms. Meteorologist Lauren Oleski is tracking the tropics for us this morning.
The one out in the eastern Atlantic, 30% development chance through the next 7 days. We'll monitor this. Way too early to tell what, if any, impacts it would have on the United States. Imelda has dissipated. And then we've got this other wave over our state with a low development chance. It's not going to turn into anything, but an area of low pressure is moving over Florida, and it's going to bring us an increased rain chance as we go through the weekend. The next name on our list is Jerry and then Karen.
Well, hurricanes Umberto and Imelda are long gone, but before they disappeared, they actually merged into one storm. The satellite time lapse right here shows Imelda absorbing the remnants of Umberto. Imelda then dissipated on Thursday. And the impacts of hurricanes Imelda and Umberto are still being felt along the outer banks of North Carolina. You can see it right here. Another home collapsed into the Atlantic Ocean. Coastal erosion and also rough surf are what's leading to the destruction of all of these homes. This is the 8th home to fall in just about 3 days. Umberto and Imelda also impacted many vacations. Folks on a Norwegian cruise line ship expecting sun in the Caribbean instead are seeing fall colors in Maine. Max Williams has more from Portland.
What was supposed to be a warm, inviting cruise to the Caribbean instead turned into a trip to the much cooler Northeast.
We were expecting fun in the sun.
You book a Caribbean cruise expecting warm, not to be up here in Maine.
Passengers were supposed to be in the Dominican Republic, but instead took in the views Portland has to offer. Norwegian Cruise Lines telling passengers they had to change the itinerary due to Humberto and Imelda.
And passengers are yelling and screaming at the crew, which it's not their fault.
The cruise ship made a stop in Boston before arriving in Portland. It's now headed to Eastport. And with that comes the need for warmer clothes.
The poor passengers have been buying the hats and earmuffs like crazy.
Paula Ashton had a stand right near the cruise terminal full of winter hats and gloves. And with each sale, she also delivered some words of encouragement.
Go have your lobster roll.
And we are now in day 3 of the federal government shutdown, which of course is in the middle of hurricane season. NOAA forecasters are planning to keep working, of course, during the shutdown, but with the agency already in a weakened state, the shutdown adds just another layer of complexity. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the Federal Emergency Management Agency will remain open because they're deemed essential to the protection of lives and property, but employees will still feel the impact.
They're doing the work without pay, without an understanding of when this shutdown is going to end. Will they get that back pay eventually?
Chris Vigaski with WiscoNet says he hopes the shutdown is resolved quickly so it doesn't severely impact the livelihoods of employees. The Weather Forecasting Agency has less than 4,000 employees for the first time in decades. It lost more than 560 people to layoffs, early retirement incentives, and other programs aimed at shrinking the size of the federal government. The agency has enough staff to accurately predict tropical storms and hurricanes, says a NOAA official who spoke to CNN on the condition of anonymity for fear of retribution.
The question, of course, is for how long and what other supporting capabilities, if you will, might be compromised, especially with so many people being furloughed right now.
With some local NWS offices short-staffed, former NOAA Administrator Richard Spinrad worries about weather events happening simultaneously across the country.
What happens if we have another hurricane outbreak and some wildfires in the west, severe drought in the Midwest? All of a sudden, you're stretching that workforce so very thin with regard to providing those services across the country and for all of these different environmental hazards.
The history of NOAA goes back more than 200 years, but the agency we know today was officially formed on this day back in 1970. Meteorologist Emily Gracie looks back at the history of NOAA as it celebrates 55 years of weather forecasting.
On October 3, 1970, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration was born, bringing together over a century and a half of American scientific achievement under one roof. NOAA's roots run deep. President Jefferson established the Survey of the Coast in 1807, making NOAA's lineage the oldest science agency in the United States. The Weather Bureau followed in 1870, and the Fisheries Commission in 1871. The vision to unite these agencies emerged in the 1960s. The Stratton Commission delivered a bold plan in 1969, calling for the coordinated action on marine science and environmental protection. President Nixon answered that call, sending the Reorganization Plan No. 4 to Congress on July 9, 1970. But the politics of where NOAA would land were complicated.
President Nixon was so irritated at Wally Hinkle, so Nixon scratches out Interior and writes Commerce on the executive order. So a lot of people don't realize that NOAA's existence has never been authorized by Congress. NOAA was created with an executive order.
Despite the controversy, NOAA became official on October 3rd with a clear mission: protect life and property from natural hazards, advance our understanding of the environment, and promote intelligent use of marine resources. From weather forecasts to fisheries management, NOAA continues that mission today. Happy birthday, NOAA.
Well, in Utah, residents of a community outside of Provo were urged to evacuate their homes after a new wildfire ignited. The fire here is unpredictable and has already burned at least 150 acres. As Brian Will reports, it comes as the state is dealing with some serious drought conditions.
I've been hearing helicopters go up there with buckets of water.
A wildfire up Hobble Creek Canyon started and quickly spread, forcing road closures and evacuations.
Camp host came in, said that there was a fire up there, we might have to evacuate.
David Barney is at the Cherry Campground just a few miles away from the front line. He says the fire started near a shooting range just up the road from where he often camps.
It's a shooting range, but they feel that it started at the top of the mountain and worked its way down.
We're up the right fork of Hobble Creek Canyon, where you can see that fire line behind me and just how quickly this has grown to more than 150 acres. We've seen planes, helicopters, and fire crews attacking this fire. Ranchers rushed into the canyon, herding their cattle away from the flames. A few campers like Barney staying behind after he says the sheriff told them they didn't have to leave, at least for now.
The sheriff told me that he thought maybe ATV riders started it up high on the mountain. I just hope they can get it out and doesn't burn much forest.
Switzerland's glaciers saw lots of melting this year. The Swiss Academy of Scientists says, according to its measurements, Swiss glaciers lost about 3% of their total volume in 2025. That's the fourth largest annual drop on record. Switzerland has almost 1,400 glaciers, more than any other European country. Swiss scientists say human-caused climate change is the main driver for this accelerated melting. And time now to go across the nation and check the weather in select cities. And we start with a look at the Ferris wheel at National Harbor in Oxon Hill, Maryland. It's just a short drive south of D.C. It's looking like a perfect fall day with temperatures in the low to mid 70s. And now this is Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's the second largest city in the state and home of the University of Arkansas. And it's shaping up to be a great day with sunny skies and highs in the mid 80s. Well, we don't see any aliens here in Roswell, New Mexico, but summer-like heat is definitely in town. The city's expecting bright, sunny skies and highs in the upper 80s today. And now here's a look at the Snake River in western Wyoming, less than 2 miles from the Idaho border. There's a chance of showers later today with highs in the upper 60s. And coming up on the National Weather Desk is fall wildfire season. We'll show you what areas are most at risk and steps you can take to protect your home. And we'll head outside for our weekend football forecast.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We're tracking warmer temperatures returning to the Northeast. Today, temps will get a boost back into the 70s after a chilly start. We're warming it up pretty quickly with a lot of sunshine. Any clouds that we get, they're of the high thin variety, so it's a mostly sunny day. That's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. High pressure is firmly in control of our weather. Check out the temperatures in the Northeast for Saturday. Most areas will top out in the low 80s. I think low 80s will be common on Sunday as well.
I'm meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. We are in for a beautiful Friday. We'll have lots of sunshine throughout the day. Then as we make our way into the night, still staying nice and quiet thanks to high pressure over the region. We'll enjoy plenty of sunshine again on Saturday, and it's looking great on Sunday. Temperatures will rise to the 60s, 70s, and 80s, staying below average for most. Then into the night, we'll drop down to the 50s across the region.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Vetus Readers. A look at your southeast forecast. Highs for the day. We're looking at 83 in Tupelo, Birmingham at 84 degrees. Comfortable 75 in Raleigh, 80 in Charleston, 80 Jacksonville, 86 West Palm. Plenty of sunshine across the Tennessee Valley as well as the I-95 corridor, the Carolinas down towards Alabama, Mississippi. We are seeing an onshore flow of showers across pretty much most of Florida. So it looks like there's a little low down here that will continue to track moving across the state slowly, giving Florida plenty of showers through the weekend.
I'm meteorologist James Bryant at KATV in Little Rock, Arkansas. You're watching the National Weather Desk.
Fall wildfire season is underway in North Carolina. The lingering effects of Helene are increasing the risk. Gracie Palmer has more.
Excess dead leaves on the ground and dry, windy weather can quickly spread even a small fire. But for us in western North Carolina, we have much more dead debris on the ground than usual this time of year, which officials from the Forest Service said raises our risk even more, especially since debris and closed access roads could block those responders' usual paths to fight the fire.
Access road that may be currently blocked off due to downed trees. So there's an accessibility factor. Same thing for debris that's actually in the fire area.
99% of North Carolina wildfires are human-made, and the leading cause is from people burning debris. Fires can still start from downed power lines or lightning strikes, which means as much as we practice fire safety, wildfires are unpredictable. The Forest Service provided us with tips to keep you and your family safe. They suggest clearing debris and sticks from around your house, sealing all windows and vents to prevent embers from flying inside, and signing up for alerts from local emergency management agencies.
And in Rochester, New York, the summer months proved to be record setters for drought, but that was after a very wet May and June. Christian Garzon tells us how the changes in weather is impacting local farmers.
We're split, half vegetables, half grain.
Matt Clute of the Clute Brothers Farm in Kendall says it's the end of their season and most of their product is on your local store shelves. He says this summer was a record-setting drought for our entire region.
It's just been nothing. It's been dry. It's almost Arizona-like.
And it's impacted crops across thousands of acres of land for all types of farmers. Clute says the dry summer has impacted the size of our produce.
Yeah, they're saying the crop is smaller, just like the vegetables. The fruit is smaller, but it's sweeter. Yeah. You know, the quality is good.
Here at Clute Farms, the drought was hit or miss on their goods.
It is dependent mile by mile, soil type by soil type. Some of our fields, you would hardly know there's a drought.
And some fields were so dry, nothing really grew. Clute says they can spend time and money irrigating as much as they want during dry spells, but it's no substitute for Mother Nature.
You can't duplicate what she can from the clouds. You know, no matter how much you irrigate.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Now it's time to start seeding for next year, at least the grain, but you guessed it, there's a bit of an issue.
So we just can't find moisture. There are little patches of moisture in the field, but it's really dry.
Well, have you ever noticed that the sky is darker blue in the fall and early winter? Meteorologist Violet Skyborough assures you that your eyes are not playing tricks on you and explains why the color actually changes.
Have you ever noticed that the sky is a darker blue in the fall and early winter months? Well, first let's explain why the sky is the color blue in the first place. When the sun actually emits a white light composed of all the colors of the rainbow. Now, as this light enters the Earth's atmosphere about 18 miles up, it encounters air molecules, which are just the right size to help scatter blue and violet light wavelengths. All the other colors continue down to the surface unimpeded. Now, that blue light is scattered from molecule to molecule until it's reflected at you from all parts of the sky. Now, that's why the sky is the color blue. But why does it look darker in fall and early winter? Well, this in part has to do with the sun angle. When the sun is the highest in the sky during the summer months, it's at a 70-degree angle. But in the winter, it only gets up to 24 degrees. With this lower sun angle in late fall, winter, and early spring, the sunlight takes a longer path through the atmosphere, which means there's more Rayleigh scattering, or more blue light is scattered, and we see more blue rather than white light. It also has to do with the air composition. In summer, the air is more humid and warmer. In winter, we have drier and colder air, at least overall. But what does this mean when it comes to the color of the sky? Lower humidity means there's less water vapor in the air to reflect the light. Colder air causes sinking, which means less haze and pollution, and there's less me scattering. That's the scientific term for it, which means there's less white light reflection from the clouds and haze because there's less clouds and haze in the sky overall. So that's why we see a brighter blue in the fall and winter months.
Andrew Buck Michael from our station in Columbus, Ohio, answers viewer questions on social media as a segment he calls the Weather Bucket.
What is up, everyone? Andrew Buck Michael back with another round of your weather bucket questions, but it is empty. I said on my Facebook page, we're going to change things up and go to a fall winter mode. So I need more questions to add, and we're going to add them here. And let's get started here. Just go to my Facebook page, look for that post, and you can ask your weather question. Let's grab a few of them out of here. First one saying, will the dry snap we're having hurt the changing of the fall leaves? We're already starting to see that a little bit. Some of the leaves are turning a little bit more brown than their vibrant colors because everything's starting to try to go dormant, and the trees want to get rid of those leaves basically to try to survive itself. So the leaves are already starting to drop a little bit. The color's probably not quite as vibrant because of how dry it's been. Question here coming in from Doug. There was another similar one here. When is Indian summer or second summer? You need a hard freeze to basically kill off the growing season, to end any of the plants from growing anymore, and then you get a little warmer trend after that sometimes. However, this year, we've not had a hard freeze yet. However, because it is so dry, a lot of the plants have started to go dormant here in central Ohio because of the drought. So we've kind of started to feel a little bit of a second summer or Indian summer because of that. I got more questions for next time, so make sure to add yours to this post pinned at the top of my Facebook page. We'll see you back for the next round of your weather bucket questions.
NOAA's budget cuts last spring included the entire staff of the climate.gov, a trusted source for climate information. This week on our podcast, Emily Gracie sat down with the website's former program manager to learn about what was lost in the shutdown and how she and fellow former NOAA employees are launching an independent nonprofit platform to restore public access to climate data. Here's a preview of that episode.
In May of 2025, the United States government did something unprecedented. They took down climate.gov, a website that Americans relied on for vital climate information. It's a pattern we've seen before. From pesticides, lead pollution, tobacco, to even nuclear fallout, America has a disturbing history of silencing science.
Climate change is happening, and it's going to continue to happen, whether or not they try to hide that information.
Today we're going off the radar to give science a voice. We'll learn what was lost when climate.gov disappeared, and how a group of fired NOAA employees are fighting back to return that vital information to the public.
Our children, our grandchildren, they're going to inherit the climate that we're giving them now. We can't be simultaneously handing them a problem and then hiding the information that they need to try to figure out what they're going to do.
And you can find Off the Radar anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. New episodes drop every Tuesday. And time now for a short break, but first we take in the views of fall foliage in Utah.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. Some great weather across the Midwest as we go through the day today. Might see a stray shower or two try to pop up, but for the most part, 80s and 90s and dry for most of the Midwest for the day today. Saturday, we do have some rain starting to try to sneak its way into the far west part of the Midwest. However, most of us still warming up with a lot of sunshine. Rain continues to try to move in a little bit more Sunday.
Well, a good Friday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Chris Uchan. Our forecast across the region today with a nice start with mainly clear skies. A little bit of rain out over the Gulf where there's a weak area of low pressure aloft. Could throw a couple of showers in along the I-10 corridor, Texas, southern Louisiana. We step into that Saturday forecast, and it is a day of sunshine all across the region. Slight rain chance around New Orleans. Maybe a few spots here in South Texas as well. Highs 80s and 90s.
Well, hi there, everybody, and a good Friday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. A fabulous start to this first October weekend, especially in the PNW. The sunshine bouncing back today in the Emerald City with a high of 66. 60s and 70s around coastal California. October is a great time of year, and the city by the bay still heading toward 100 in Phoenix, and you can see this disturbance heading over the Sierra Nevada on its way into the Four Corners region today. And that's the scene from here.
Christina Ernie, meteorologist at WJAR in Providence, Rhode Island, and you're watching the National Weather Desk.
Time now for our Friday football forecast. Here's meteorologist Katie Morgan.
It's that time of week again. Let's talk about our football matchups here. We're going to start, of course, with college. Big game, Big Ten matchup, in fact. Minnesota at Ohio State. Temperatures at kickoff at 74. A night game with mainly clear skies. Big matchup in Tuscaloosa this weekend. Ranked Alabama taking on ranked Vanderbilt. We'll look at temperatures around 86 at kickoff with plenty of sunshine. And Miami in Florida at Florida State in Tallahassee, looking at a few showers and storms with the upper 70s. The Lions taking on the Bengals on Sunday. That kickoff at 4:25. Temperatures around 85 in Cincinnati. And then in Seattle, nice day here with sunshine at 65 with the Buccaneers in town taking on the Seahawks. Another across the pond game. The Vikings staying across the pond after being in Ireland last weekend, in London this weekend, taking on the Browns at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Temperatures at 15 degrees Celsius, that is 60 degrees Fahrenheit with sunshine. That's the latest on our football matchups. I'm meteorologist Katie Morgan.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great Friday. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you right back here on Monday.